What a pleasant surprise. Fancy seeing a familiar face around this time of night. Care to join me in the carriage? The rain will only get worse, judging by how thick the clouds are. It would be a shame to ruin such elegant clothes, my dear. A runny nose wouldn't suit you either. Good choice. You would have caught your death out there in this cold. Look at you, poor thing, all soaked. Here, take my coat to warm yourself up again. You're shivering. There you go. Were you heading anywhere in particular? It is rather late for somebody like you to be walking around alone. Bad things might happen to pretty faces around here, especially at this hour. Oh. Oh, you poor thing. What unfortunate timing. The rain must have begun right as you were on your way back. I'm glad I noticed you then. It may not be far to your residence, but without an umbrella, it would have been quite an uncomfortable journey. Having you here gives me an idea, however. I'm on my way to the theatre. Would you care to join me? If nobody is expecting you at home, of course. I planned to go with a friend of mine, but they didn't feel like mingling tonight. So now I have an extra ticket to the play, and letting it go to waste would be quite a shame. Lovely. I hope you'd be interested. Today is the opening performance of The Discarded Son, and I couldn't help myself. You know I have a weak spot for the arts. And with the prospect of seeing an intriguing drama, I simply had to. It will be a pleasure to take you, and please, don't feel like a replacement. I was attempting to cheer up my friend and get them among people, but it seems like they don't feel ready for that quite yet. Were the circumstances any other, I might have asked you to go with me. However, Valentine's going through a rather difficult phase at the moment, and I try to keep them from isolating. But sometimes, it might be best to give people the time to recover before dragging them out of their comfort zone again. Caterpillars too. They need to stay in their cocoon to become majestic butterflies. For us humans, it is more self-reflection than discorporation, but the result is similar enough in my opinion. Enough about that, my dear. I'm certain all will be well in due time. For now, though, would you care for a glass of mild wine? Lord Daverall gifted me a fine bottle just earlier today, and I have been wondering whom to share it with. I am certain it will be your taste, my dear. The Lord is very careful about selecting gifts, and from what I've heard, this particular kind is very light taste. I'm not too fond of strong alcoholic notes myself. After having a fair share of drunken experiences, it eventually began tasting of bad decisions and memories best forgotten. Here you go. Have a taste if you'd like. But be careful not to spill it on yourself, dear. Wine stains tend to be rather tedious. I suppose having wine glasses in my carriage is a little strange. But I bought them only a few moments ago before I noticed you on the street. I realized my alt set was, well, not a set anymore. And I figured some new glasses were in order. These are much nicer than my old ones, and a lot finer too. The thin glass is quite pleasant to look at, but I worry it might be a little fragile. I suppose I have to hope they last longer than the previous set. Last time, a rather rowdy guest began breaking them after getting upset. Some people can handle rejection well. Others begin throwing tantrums and those wine glasses, it appears. Luckily, no one was injured and only the glasses were destroyed. All else remains mostly untouched. Drunken people tend to be quite a hassle. That is part of the reason why I mostly swore off liquor. But every once in a while, a glass of wine or two with such lovely company is simply too tempting. Such pleasant flavour. I've never tasted anything like this before. Have you? It vaguely reminds me of spring. Oh dear. Are you alright? The road must have had a... Fuck. You're bleeding. Don't look at me. Just take this handkerchief. It may only be a small cut, but please, just press it on the wound. You looked, didn't you? You noticed the change in my eyes? I promise you, nothing will happen as long as you cover that wound. I said cover it. No. Great. A second glass broken. I still have to get used to the grip strength. You really have a death wish, don't you? For Christ's sake, no! Don't take it off. Just keep it pressed on there. It'll be fine. Oh God, smell. Listen, you have to stay calm. I can sense your heartbeat getting faster, and for Christ's sake, you have to keep holding the handkerchief. I apologize, dear. I lost my temper for a moment. The situation cannot be blamed on you. I suppose it's my fault for withholding information about myself. But in my foolish mind, I hoped I'd be able to keep it a secret. You poor thing. You look terrified. Trembling from the cold, the shock, or the fear. Perhaps all three at once. I assure you, you are safe. I can control myself. You must think of me as some kind of maniac. And I admit, were I a normal person, this kind of reaction would be strange, to say the least. But do not be afraid, my dear, and please allow me to explain. I have kept this from you for selfish reasons, but I have been infected with vampirism, an illness of the mind and body alike, that makes one behave more animalistic than they may wish. A sickness slowly chipping away your sanity until all that you are has been stripped to the core. What remains is only a poison black beating heart that offers a glimpse into what the opposite of humanity might look like, where it boiled and filtered into essence of pure darkness and evil. It makes the infected yearn for blood, but I've never felt such a strong reaction over a simple smell before. In all my years of suffering from this fiction, never has such a small cut been enough to induce the switch within me. Perhaps it's because I know you. Because you mean something to me as a person, as cruel as the implication of that will be. Perhaps it has to do with the wine, and the Lord did it on purpose to sabotage me. Or perhaps it's just simply you. I was worried you would fear me once you knew. But I'm not sure how to interpret that expression on you. Are you terrified? Intrigued? In shock even? Whatever you may feel, I understand this means you prefer keeping your distance from now on. I will ask the driver to get you home directly. What is that supposed to mean? How could you possibly entertain the thought of being in this confined space with me after seeing my reaction to even the tiniest drop of blood? How could you possibly look into these hungry eyes and feel unthreatened? How can you possibly feel comfortable knowing that at the slightest fracture of your skin I might leap at you and I won't be able to stop myself? A friend of mine recently had a incident. They weren't able to stop. And I don't want you to end up like that. A lifeless body in my arms. Another casualty. Fallen. Because yet another young vampire lost control. You don't deserve to end up like that. Nobody deserves to end up like that. But if I could save only one person from ever enduring that same fate, it would be you. I cannot let you fall into your demise simply because you put your trust in me. My dear, it was selfish of me to try and befriend you. Vampires and humans should never interact with one another. I should have been honest with you, or at least save both of us the struggle of getting involved. I might hurt you, or even if I don't, you will die within what feels like a blink of an eye. We were never meant to meet. And it was foolish of me to toy with that fate as I did. I cannot possibly entertain the thought of you staying near me after these most recent events. You can never be safe by my side, and I can never be truly at ease, knowing that I'm merely a paper cut away from becoming a murderer. From killing a person I care about. An innocent human being. You deserve so much better, my dear, even if that means I can never see you again. In the end, I can't tell you what to do. I can only suggest it might be best for you to stay away. Perhaps, for tonight, we can pretend none of this happened and enjoy the play together. Tomorrow will be your choice to make. Take your time to think about it, my dear. Consider the danger and weigh your options. I promise I won't be upset either way. Not like I have much of a choice in the matter.